channel. Today I am doing a prom, wedding, event, makeup, whatever event that you have coming up, you could do this makeup look for. I decided to go very nude and matte on the eyelids, but add in a pop of color underneath. And this is probably my favorite look that I've ever created. So if you are interested in seeing how I come up with this makeup look, just keep watching. Alright, so I just primed my eyes using the L'Oreal Infallible Primer. This is not technically an eye primer, but I've used it all over my face previous times and it works just fine on my eyes as well. Now I'm going to go into the Morphe 25B Bronze Palette, and I'm going to use this yellow shade right here. I'm going to put this on with a flat brush. This particular brush I got in an Ipsy bag, so I'm not sure where you can locate this brush, but any flat brush that you have will work. I'm now going to go into the Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm going to mix these two shades together. So I'm just taking a blending brush and I'm just putting this all over the lid. I'm now going in with the shade Pooter from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm using the same brush and I'm just applying this into my upper crease area and a little bit on my eyelid, pretty much where we put the first shade. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Buns, and I'm using a more smaller blending brush to apply this, so that way it's a little bit more concentrated in one area. Now I'm going into the 25B Bronze palette and I'm using the shade Most, and I'm applying this with a Morphe brush. This is the M513. I'm focusing most of the pigment on the outer corner and bringing a little bit of it into my crease. Now I'm going in with the shade Space, and this is just a deeper brown. So I'm using the same brush and really focusing it on the outer corner and a little bit into my crease as well. Now I'm going back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm using the shade Central Park, and I'm just using a smaller, more flat brush to apply this into that outer corner, just so I really get that V effect. And I'm going back in with the M513 just to buff this out. Then I'm going to go in with the very first brush and just blend everything together. I did not pick up any new pigment to do this. And now I'm going to do a slight cut crease. So I'm using a flat brush. This is a Luxie brush, the 239. I got mine in an Ipsy bag. I'm not sure where you could pick this up, but I'm just taking some Tarte Shape Tape and applying it to my lid area, just in the inner corner. Because this is an event look, I want the inner corner to be really bright. Now I'm going back into the 25B Bronze palette and I'm using the shades Image and Seek. And I'm applying them with the same brush on top of the concealer. And these two shades together are going to help brighten up the inner corner. Now they're not highlighting shades, but they're not as dark as the outer corner. So it's going to make our eyes look more awake in pictures. Now I'm going back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm using the shade Obsessed. This is a very light shimmer and I'm using the same brush to buff that out. And this is just going to help the inner corner and the outer corner blend together while also adding a little shimmer to our eye. Now I'm going to take the tape off and you can see that we are left with a very harsh line. Once you put your foundation on, that line will not look as harsh. It looks weird now, but it won't later. I'm taking a makeup wipe and cleaning up any of the fallout that fell onto my cheek area. And then I'm going to go in with a liquid liner. This is a L'Oreal liner in the shade Carbon Black. And this is my first time actually using this liner, so I'm having to get used to the way that it bends on my eye. So you can see it kind of looks choppy at first, but I clean it up later. The good thing about doing your eyeshadow first is if you were to mess up either on your wing or on your eyeshadow, whatever, you can take a makeup wipe and go behind it and really clean that up so you get that harsh line on the outer corner, which is what you want if you're doing a wing. So if you're getting ready for a big event, I always recommend going in with your eyeshadow first, so that way you don't spend time doing your foundation just for it to mess up later. And you can see that when I take this makeup wipe, it just changes the entire look on that outer corner. Now I'm going to go in with a L'Oreal Infallible Glow Lock Primer in the shade 130. And I apply a little bit more today than what I normally do, just because I want to make sure that my foundation is going to last in my problem areas, which is where my T-zone is. So you can see I put on a pretty generous amount. Now I'm going to go in with two different foundations. One is the Makeup Revolution foundation in the shade F2. The other one is a L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation in the shade W12. The Makeup Revolution foundation is very full coverage, but the L'Oreal one is not. However, it is a little bit more illuminating to your face. So I wanted to apply both of them. So I got the full coverage, but yet I still had a little glow at the end. I'm also putting on a little bit more than what I normally would on a daily basis, and that's because if I'm getting ready for an event, I want to make sure that my foundation is going to last all day. When you first put your makeup on, it's going to look really pigmented on your face and give you a lot of full coverage, but as the day goes on, it's going to start soaking into your skin, or it's going to start wiping away on your face. So putting on just a little bit more at the beginning, it just ensures that it's going to last a little bit longer on your face. So I'm using a Real Techniques sponge. This is the face and body sponge, so it's a lot bigger than the other one, and it just applies my makeup so much faster. Be careful to not go over your winged liner, and also make sure that you blend this to your neck, your ear, and your hairline. If you need to, you can always go in with the brush. This is the Real Techniques 210 brush, and I just use that to really get in the inner corner. Then I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the shade Fair Neutral, and I like to put this on my fingers to warm it up before I put it on my eye, and then I just tap it in. I will also put this around the corners of my mouth, my chin, and my forehead as well. So this is going to help add in some extra coverage while also brightening up our under eye area. So I apply this with the exact same sponge. I just turn it over to the opposite side so my foundation doesn't mix in. Now I'm just applying this to my chin, applying it to my forehead, and I'm using the exact same sponge to apply all of this makeup, just because it's so much easier when you're using one tool. You can just change it to opposite ends and nothing mixes together. Now I'm going in with a powder. This is the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade Fair 05. This is the lightest shade that they had, and I'm applying most of it underneath my eye and my chin and my forehead, mainly where I put the concealer, because I don't want that to move throughout the day. And then anything that's left over, I will put on my cheeks and some on my neck, and just really make sure that I get it all over my face, because I do not want my foundation to move at all. And you can see here that I'm patting my cheek area, and what I'm looking for is any stickiness that's left over. And if I feel anything, I will put extra powder on top of it, because I don't want my foundation to move when I apply my bronzer or my blush. Now I'm going back in with the Morphe M513 and just adding in a little bit of the last shade that we used, which was Central Park, just because I wanted to make it a little bit deeper and brown. So I'm just really making sure that I buff this in, just to help add in some extra dimension to the outer corner of her eye. Now I'm going in to contour my face. I'm using the Real Techniques brush in the number 400 and the Physicians Formula bronzer in 6675 light bronzer, and I'm using this today to contour out my cheeks and my forehead area, just because I don't want to put this all over my face. I want to look really contoured for pictures, but I am going to take the bigger brush in the number 201 to apply it to my neck area, just so everything blends together seamlessly. And then I'm also going to take the Real Techniques brush in 210 and contour out my nose. Now, I typically do not do this, but for pictures, I would. So I just really want to blend that in. Now I'm going back in with the same sponge just to tap everything into my face so I don't have any harsh lines. But this is also going to help the product last a little bit longer throughout the day as well, because you're pressing it into your skin and it's not just sitting on top. Now I'm going to go in with two different eyebrow products. One is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist in the shade Light Brunette. The other one is a Makeup Revolution Brow Stylist in the shade Medium Brown. The Light Brunette is too red for me, but the Medium Brown is too dark. So I like to mix them together to get my perfect shade. Now I'm going to go in with a L'Oreal eyeliner. This is in the shade Ultra Black. It's very creamy. Now I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara in the shade Carbon Black. And I'm going to put a light coat on my lashes because I am going to wear false lashes today. Now I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques number 400 brush and a Morphe blush in the shade Spirit. And I'm going to put this on top of the bronzer that we put on earlier. And I also like to bring this up to my forehead just to make everything look a little bit more natural and seamless. Blush is a product that I absolutely have to have because it adds so much color back into your face. Now I'm going to go back into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm using the shade Beam to highlight my upper brow bone. And I'm just using a pencil brush from the Eye Slay kit that you can get on Morphe.com. I'm going to use the exact same brush to put eyeshadow underneath my eye area. And I'm going to go back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and use the shade Twerk. This is where we're going to get that pop of color underneath our eye. It's just going to really make your eye look open while also adding that fun pop of color, so it's not just a neutral eye. And I'm also going to go in with a L'Oreal Infallible liner. This is in the shade Cobalt Blue, and I'm going to put this into my waterline just to help add in that extra pop of color as well. And then I used the same pencil brush and just grabbed a little bit of product, and then I buffed that underneath my eye as well, because I felt like the pigment of the eyeshadow came off a little too purple for me. So I just really buffed this out and made sure that it was very seamless under my eye. And then I went back in with a smaller, more defined brush to really help blend the eyeshadow and the liner together. So that way I didn't have any harsh lines under my eye. Because we went to a neutral on our eyelid, this pop of color underneath, you want to make sure that you really buff this out. Now I'm going to go back in with the same pencil brush, and I'm using the shade Beam, and I'm putting this into my inner corner. Again, this is going to help make your eyes look really open and awake in pictures. And I'm using the exact same shade Beam to highlight my cheek area, above my eyebrows, my nose, my cupid's bow, a little bit on my forehead as well. This particular highlighter is just so beautiful on your skin, and it doesn't really show texture. I'm applying my highlight using a brush from Mint Pear. This is the Rounded Soft Blend M64. I got mine in an Ipsy bag, so I'm not sure where you could purchase this, but any brush that's similar to this will do for your highlight. I just feel like it puts so much pigment on your face. I'm also going to use the same sponge from earlier and really press this into my skin, so that way my highlight doesn't go anywhere throughout the day. Now I'm going to use a Makeup Revolution setting spray to really set everything in place before I put on my mascara. If you set your face after your mascara, you're going to end up with transfer, especially if you put mascara on your lower lashes. So I always recommend setting your face first and then putting your mascara on last. This is going to help keep it from transferring to your foundation. Now I'm going in with my favorite lip liner ever. This is a Milani lip liner in the shade 03 Nude. And it's just the perfect nude brown for my fair skin tone. It applies very creamy and it lasts for a good amount of time, especially if you put lipstick on top of it. I'm going to put a Milani lipstick on top of this. This is the number 61. I just picked this up, but it is going to be my favorite lipstick for spring and summertime. If you are fair skin, this is just the perfect nude lip for you. It doesn't come off too brown. It actually looks nude on your lips, and they're so creamy, they're so pigmented, and they last all day long. So I highly recommend Milani lipsticks if you are getting ready for an event. I'm now going to go in with a Milani liquid lip. This is the number 01 in the shade Delight. This is a liquid lip, however, it's not like any liquid lip I've ever worn before. It doesn't dry down matte, but yet it's not a lip gloss either. It also has a little bit of a shimmer, so it looks perfect over a matte lipstick, and it's going to last you for a very long time at your big event. Alright everyone, that is all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this makeup look as much as I enjoyed creating it. I am all about having a brown nude matte eyelid. It's one of my favorite go-to looks to put on every day, so much less when I'm going to an event. It's just something I'm comfortable with and something I know that's going to look good. But adding in that pop of color underneath just changes the entire look. And you can do this with pinks. You could do this with a red, you could do this with purple. Any color that you want to match to what you're wearing would look great under your eye. If you decide to recreate this look for your prom event or wedding or whatever it may be, leave me a picture down below. I would love to see what you come up with. Obviously, it doesn't have to be blue. I would love to see anything that you come up with. Leave me a comment down below with any other suggestions that you have, any other colors that you would like to see. If you want to see me use this blue on my eyelid instead, just leave me a comment down below. I'm happy to do anything that you request. Don't forget to follow me on all of my other socials. I will leave those down in the description bar as well. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. And yeah, that's all that I have for you today. I will see you next Sunday.